Hello, everybody. Today we're going to start talking about Tupac, which this is another switch up for me because I'm not really familiar with rap music. I have heard, I think, one Tupac song in my life, and it's not like something I was sitting down listening to and paying attention to. But I remember hearing California Love when I was doing security at I think it was a quinceanera. Um, and I remember the DJ would throw that on sometimes, uh, and like I liked it, but like obviously it wasn't the kind of environment where I could like focus on it. And I've always meant to check Tupac out in more detail, um, but I just never quite got around to it. And I was thinking, when I was thinking of names to put on my Discog dives list, I wanted to get some rap music in there because, on a personal level, I want to explore some of what is considered the more respected substantive rap artists, rap music, because most of what I have been like exposed to, sort of against my will, by being played in an environment where I'm not in control of the music or whatever. A lot of the times, the rap music that I've heard has been either leaning into being really like funny, I guess, which could describe maybe a couple of Afro Man songs that I've heard growing up. Because I mean, I live in Palmdale, right? So growing up in middle school, there was all these kids that got their hands on some Afro Man songs, and they were just fucking obsessed, with in particular because I got high or crazy rap. But those aren't like serious substantive songs. Those are like goofball ass tracks, right? Um, and then the other type of song that I've really been bombarded with is like lazy brag raps often, where it's like they're not showing much in the way of technical skill, which is like, I don't know, I don't want to hear a guy who sounds bored to do his own music talk about how much richer and cooler he is than me. That doesn't sound like a fun experience. I don't know why that shit gets so popular on the radio and stuff. I just don't find that enjoyable, and I don't find it interesting to listen to from anyone, no matter how many times I've heard it. Maybe that's the problem, is that I've heard it too many times, and every extra time I hear it, it annoys me more. Um, so I wanted to hear rap that wasn't either of those two things. I don't want to hear something that's just like too silly to take seriously, and I don't want to hear something that's just like lazy talking about how cool they are, right? Flexing, right? That's not what I want to hear. I want to hear an artist who cares about what they're saying and maybe who has something to say. So we're starting with Tupac, which of course means we're doing the discography in order, as I've decided is the case. Starting with Tupacalypse Now, which was released in '91, year before I was born. And this was good. This was very good. This is exactly what I was hoping to hear. Is something where not only does he display technical skill, right? Because when he is hitting some of these lines, there is clear, well, skill. I was trying to think of another way to phrase that without saying skill again. But yeah, he skillfully like weaves through the lines in a couple of these songs, and it just sounds so much better than, like I said, like a guy lazily telling me that he's very rich. That's like, okay, I I don't need you to do that too, buddy. But yeah, God, this is what I was hoping for. I unexpectedly though, this did manage to get me to cry twice. And when I say cry, I mean like I got a single tear each time. But I was like physically reacting emotionally to the song. In the case of Brenda's Got a Baby, that one got me because I wasn't ready for that. And then Part Time Mother got me, probably because I was still softened up from Brenda's Got a Baby, and I was like, oh no, it's happening again, it's sad. Um, Granted, I've gotten more easily emotionally worked up as I've gotten older. I tear up at like things that I don't sometimes I don't even think are worth tearing up at when it comes to entertainment. In this case, I think it is. You know, these were two really well done tragic songs about really sad subject material. Um, so yeah, you know, take that however you will. You could just say like, he's a bitch, or you could say, well, yeah, they're fucking sad songs. It's not unsurprising. Um, and one of the things I appreciated so much about listening to this album, and it became very clear in the first couple of tracks, was that okay, like here's the thing. I don't know anything about Tupac as a person, right? But I learned a lot about him as an artist and probably as a person from listening to this album because he is pretty clear about what he wants to say, right? About the contemporary troubles of the time, for sure. Some of that stuff probably still very applicable today, you know. Unfortunately, like familial abuse, drug abuse, those kinds of things didn't just stop after the 90s, of course. So even though, we're 30 something years on, some of those things he could still, if he was around, could still talk about, and it would still be relevant and, something to care about. Um, but I just appreciated so much that I was like, I was listening to these tracks, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have to guess what he wants me to feel. I don't have to guess what he wants to communicate to me, right? He conveys his ideas pretty clearly and strongly, and it was nice to listen to this. Um, and yeah, the music was good. Like I said already, his ability to deliver the lines um, with clarity is another thing. That's another thing I could complain about some of the rap I've heard in more recent years. Is I know that's a thing, mumble rap or whatever, where it's just like you can't understand what the fuck the guy's talking about because they're just not like speaking very clearly. Fuck, like I probably didn't even need to have the lyrics tabs open when I was listening to this, but I wanted to make sure I was really getting all of his lyrical ideas. I did that with the Clash too, and I didn't really need to for most of the other songs I've reviewed in my my important life or important music series because I was familiar with a lot of that music. I already knew the lyrics, but even for the albums where I was like not familiar, I threw up the lyrics pages. I want to make sure when I'm listening to something that I give it proper attention. Um, but yeah. I don't know how much more I can say about this that I haven't already said, basically, because I'm basically just going to be complimenting Tupac's presence quite a bit, and it's something that I feel like is really clear here. He has quite a presence when he's on these tracks. He commands my attention immediately when he starts talking, and that's respectable for sure. And God, it sucks that he was killed. Because, I mean, it sucked anyway, obviously. And I don't want to make it sound like someone's life is directly tied in value to, like, how talented they are. But it is, like, pretty sad to think. He was only 25. And I haven't heard the other three albums yet, so, I can only assume that they're good, though, based on what I've heard here. This is quite the debut. But what I'm saying is like, how much does it suck? Like, how much more could he have done, right? How much more did he probably have that he wanted to say? I don't know. But God, I if I was getting around to it now and he had never been killed and still made albums for, a long time or whatever, boy, I'd be rubbing my hands together, looking forward to hearing all the rest of it. And unfortunately, we've only got 3 left to cover because that's all there is. I am only covering the studio albums. I don't know anything about the posthumous releases. I don't know, is that like outtakes? Is that like just like they had vocals that they could slap onto something else and it's not really honestly his song at that point? Like, I don't know. I'm not covering those. I'm just talking about the 4 that he released. Um, you know, intentionally, like, right, like these were what he wanted to come out, I suppose. Anything else we're not going to be talking about for this series, although I might go back and listen to some of that on my own after the fact. I don't know. But anyway, this was a cool listen. I'm glad that I finally took a look at Tupac. I've always wanted to, and I just never did. Like I said, or I think I said, I don't remember if I said it already. I do have other rap artists in mind for this series. Probably not going to do, you know, I'm probably going to try to mix up the genres as I go. I'm not going to talk about like, all of my punk bands right up front, and then all of my rap bands right up front, and then uh, pack it too closely like that. I want to kind of mix it up, weave between different genres as I go. But yeah, we've got 3 more Tupac albums to talk about. I'm pretty excited too, honestly. I'm actually filming this shortly before I have to go to work, so I don't have time to listen to any more albums right now. But shit, when I get off work, I might I might get started on the next one because I'm pretty interested to hear more of this. So thank you for watching. Appreciate the the views, the possible interest. I'm not going to assume that you're interested just because you're watching. You might just be like, is this going to get good at some point, or is he just going to be boring the whole time? I don't know. I don't know what people think when they watch me. Anyway, thank you if you did watch this, though, seriously. And I'll see you guys next time. We'll talk about the next Tupac album, which I already closed everything out, so I forget which one that is. But anyway, see you guys next time.